Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you again so very much for sharing your time with me and watching this video. So today I'm switching up the background of this video because I'm trying something new. I'm doing like a sleepover series, if you will. I am going to use this setting whenever I want to discuss difficult things. And I can't think of a more difficult video to film than the worst books I read in 2020. This book is very subjective. I just want to preface this whole video by saying that. Super subjective. This is just my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. We all have different feelings and emotions and preferences, so by all means, whichever book I mentioned today, if you haven't heard of it or haven't read it, I still suggest you read the synopsis and see if it appeals to you, because maybe these books could be one of your favorite books, so I don't want this review to potentially take that away from you. I just want to talk it out. I just want to vent it out, you know? I just want to share how I feel. You know, we gotta go through the highs and lows of the reading journey. So we're going through my lows today. Let's do it. Okay, so full transparency, I have recorded this video once before, and then when I went to edit it, I realized it was very blurry, so we're doing it again. And this time, since I thought I said some valuable things in the other video, I made some notes. I made some notes. I'm hoping I can get through this rather quickly. So let's do it. I'm also going to mention the rating that these books have on Goodreads, just to really establish the point that all these books are very highly rated. I just seem to be the anomaly. So that's why I just really want to talk about it, because I feel like everyone loves these books and I'm the only one that doesn't, and I feel kind of alone. So let's do it. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first one that I would really appreciate talking about is No One Belongs Here More Than You, Stories by Miranda July. This guy, let me just go to my note. This one has a 3.54 on Goodreads, so a pretty decently high rating. And I'm just gonna be honest, my main qualm with this, well, I have a few qualms, but one of the main qualms is that I simply don't understand. So here's the thing. This book has a lot of weird things. It almost felt like she threw in these controversial topics, but for no apparent reason. Like, here's some incest for you. Why? Because. Want to make love with an amorphous blob? Yes. Why? Because. And I was just sitting there trying to understand why she was writing on these topics, trying to find like a deeper meaning, reading between the lines. Perhaps my brain is not advanced enough to understand these conceptual ideas, right? Like, it's very hard for me to describe in detail without me spoiling the stories, which is not what I want to do, but I just didn't understand the things that she chose to talk about, and it didn't feel like there was a certain purpose to these controversial topics being discussed. It just felt like she was just involving them in her stories without acknowledging that they were harmful narratives. So I really wasn't fond of it. And also, I know there's a lot of books that are unsettling, but in a productive way, in the sense that it's an unsettling story or an unsettling narrative, but it provokes a deeper reflection on the text, and you can get something out of it. I was not able to find that in any of these stories. However, I'm sure that some people that read this will just get it, will just get these concepts, and it'll resonate with them. Like, they'll be able to read the story about her making love to an amorphous blob and be like, I get that. That means ABC. But for me, I was just like, what and why is my main concern in this current situation. So I didn't like it. So sorry, Miranda. Good riddance. Okay, up next is another one that I'm scared to talk about, because the reviews on this one are raving. Like, they're insane. They're so good. Actually, most of these books have insane ratings. So this one is A Man Called Uva by Frederick Bachman. And this one has a 4.35, and there is over 500,000 reviews. I think when you actually go to see how many people have given it a 2-star rating or a 1-star rating, it's like 1% or 2% of the people that have read the book, which is crazy because I fall into that category, and I don't want to fall into that category. I want to be with the majority in this case and love it as much as people love it. But I just, guys, this story fell so short for me. It fell so short for me. It's just, so let me, this is my issue with Uva, okay? So the thing is, he's this grumpy, widowed man, like the archetype of a grumpy, widowed old man. But I just don't think that this story provides enough context to explain why he's so bitter. Do you know what I mean? Like enough context for it to validate why he would be so angry at the world. It just kind of seems like he's bitter for no reason. I know you lost your wife, man, and I'm sorry. My heart goes out to you. But it just seems like not a good enough reason to be so bitter at the world, because let's be honest, we're all gonna lose our significant other eventually, and that's not to be bitter. That's just like the reality of life. So I didn't really understand why he was acting like his situation was unique, because it isn't. And it's just, he was expending so much energy being negative towards everything and everyone when he would have expended less energy just being positive. You follow what I'm putting down? So I just didn't understand it. I was just like, my dude, I get you, I feel for you, but get yourself together. You know what I'm saying? Like, get it together. You've had a shit go, but you gotta get it together. And also another thing, actually 2 more things. One being the mention of animal cruelty. Not a lot of people seem to mention this. It's just like, they seem to forgive Uva for treating the cat in the story poorly because he's a widowed old man. Like, I don't think that gives you a pass. It shouldn't give you a pass, so that's a big And then also, there's very negative language used towards describing an overweight character in particular, and it's just like repetitively used. It's like, okay, I get it, you've described him, but you don't need to constantly describe him in such a negative light. Just give it a rest. Give it a rest, Uva. I don't care for it. And I'm sorry because so many people love this book. And I'm hoping one day I'll want to pick up another one of his novels and give it a go and see if it's any better. I also didn't think the translation was particularly great, but that's not really his fault. That's just my personal preference on the translation. So this is a no thank you. Alright, the next one I'm going to discuss is I Owe You One by Sophie Kinsella. So, this book was not for me, and I acknowledge that it's not necessarily the author's fault because this love story is just simply not something that caters to my preferences when it comes to romantic books. The female in this book, let's just say it seems like her motto is, I am a doormat, step on me. That's kind of the energy she's putting out into the universe, and I'm not here for it because please know your worth. Please know your worth. Don't let people treat you like that. Don't let a man treat you like that. No. And also don't let your family treat you like that. Like, let's just... No, we're not letting people treat us like shit is the consensus of of this rant. We're not letting people treat us like trash. And then it also felt like her entire being surrounded around love, which is something I don't support, at least not personally. That's not really how I want to do this thing called life. So yeah, again, I know some people are okay reading on that perspective, like that kind of romance, but it's so not what I would like in a romance. Therefore, I cannot relate to it at all, and I just found the whole thing irritating. Every character annoyed me, and I was just bothered the whole time I was reading it. Alright, this next one. I'm scared to talk about all of these because, again, like I said, all of these books are really, really loved. But alas, let's do it. The next one is Where the Crawdad Sings by Delia Owens. So this one, guys, has a whopping 4.47 on Goodreads, and it has over 1 million reviews. Dear God, I'm really alone on this one. So I started this book in the beginning of April, and it was actually so difficult for me to get attached to the book that I actually ended up DNFing it, which means did not finish, for those of you that don't know. So there were a few reasons for that. First and foremost, there is a lot of description in this book. A lot of description in this book. So the main character, they call her, she lives in like this pond. It's not a pond. No, they call her Marsh Girl, right? So she lives in this marsh, and it is so descriptive of this marsh that she inhabits or that she lives by. And there were just moments that I was reading it and it was yet another page of this marsh, and it was just like, get on with it, love, like let's get into the thick of it, you know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted more substance, less description, and that may have had to do with the current taste I had in books, because I know very descriptive reads can be very enjoyable when you want them, but at the time I was just like, I've had enough of this. I don't really care to read about your feet and the mud, at least not now. I'm sure this is one of those books, not too sure, that maybe I'll pick up at a different point in my life and maybe actually enjoy it. That's just me guessing what my future self will potentially want. But for now, it was a no. So the other thing that I didn't particularly love about this book is that the main girl is not very literate due to the fact that her parents leave her at a very young age, so she's kind of left to fend for herself. And the author chooses to illustrate this by actually altering sentence structure and her vocabulary. And although I get the point of why she chose to do that, so like the author can actively see how her speaking ability is hindered, it just didn't resonate with me, and it was just something that kind of bothered me as I was reading it. But since I didn't finish the book, I can't say if that pattern continued all throughout to the end. It's just the chunks that I read that was very much a factor, and I couldn't really look past it. So yeah, those are the reasons why Where the Crawdad Sing makes this list. But again, the reviews are ridiculous, and that's obviously for a reason. So check it out. Alright guys, last but most certainly not least, brace yourself, is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. Okay, I'm so sorry about this one, because listen, I love scary movies, I really enjoy scary books, I just love the thriller, horror, scary genre. It's my thing, it's my jam, I love it. And when I first started reading scary books, this was like top 3 recommended books, okay? I honestly have yet to hear people that I either watch on the internet or know personally say anything negative about this book. And fair enough. I guess I'm just, again, left to fend for myself. So this is the problem that I have with this book. Let me break it down for you. There is this bizarre fixation on beauty all throughout the book. I actually tabbed a ton of pages in here every time that a comment on beauty came up. But in my head I was like, okay, there's probably a purpose to this. It's probably going to come full circle, and it's going to have to do with the mystery that's trying to be solved in the book. But no, it's not. It has nothing to do with it, unless I am blind and missed it altogether. But I personally cannot see how beauty connected to the final result. So that just irritated me so badly. I was just like, get on with it. I don't care that that person is beautiful, or that she's beautiful, or that he's beautiful. It's just like, I don't care for it. I don't care. I was very aggressive. I'm sorry. And then also there was this very strange, I want to say almost sexual language when it came to describing young children. There's actually an example that I have in here. Okay, so it's on page 135. If anyone that owns this copy cares to know, it says, Orama, 13 herself, a woman child with a gorgeous body and a gnawing desire to be the baby girl my mother mourned. A woman child with a gorgeous body? ¿Por qué? Like, I even wrote on the side margin here, why does the body part even matter? Because why does it matter? Why does it matter? Whatever, guys. I'm moving on from that. Regardless, though, I would really appreciate hearing from someone that really liked that book, or any of the books I just mentioned, so that I can get a different perspective on it and maybe see it differently and understand why the author chose to give all that time and attention to those details that I didn't like, because maybe I'm missing something. Apparently I'm missing something in all of these books because I didn't get it. I didn't get it, guys. I didn't get it. Anyway, those are all the books I'm going to criticize today. I hope I didn't hurt anyone's feelings. If these are one of your favorite books, that's amazing. That's great. I'm sure my favorite books are someone's least favorite books. And there's kind of something awesome about that, you know? We can just chat about it. We can be kind about it. Well, was I kind? I tried to be. So yeah, that is all for today. Thank you for listening to me rant. And I will see you when I see you. Bye.